Wake Up with Jim and Sab is exclusively on Spotify.
And if you want to start your own podcast, you can check out anchor.fm.
If you love the pod and you want to support us, make sure you follow us on Spotify. Also, you can tag us on Instagram and Twitter at Wake Up with Jim and Sab.
Welcome to Wake Up with Sab Podcast! She back!
Hey, Reese.
Hi, Reese.
Hey, hello. Thank
She
you for
back.
having me again.
Grabe, tagal na natin hindi nag-uusap.
Yes, but we get quality conversations when we.
Yeah, that's true.
Si Reese actually, she will be featured on this Friday's Makinig Ka Muna. Makinig Ka Muna.
Makinig ka muna.
Episode. She'll do a deep dive on her songs from her second album, Sobrang Saya. And
Time well spent.
and
Stream
she
it on
will-
Spotify and all your music platforms.
Yes, and she will answer some questions. So anyway, pero since gusto lang namin maghang, so walang outline as usual. Nakakatawa. I think we've spent more time podcasting than talking in real life.
That's true. That is
Diba?
true. We need to change that after the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, Reese. So first, congrats on being on Times Square.
Hey, thank you so much.
We were
Time
so
well
proud
of you.
spent. Square.
Time
Yeah.
square spent.
Well spent. Tama. Thank you very much. Thank you, Spotify.
Yes, so for all of you guys who have no idea, it's kind of a big deal. Reese's album Time Well Spent, it was featured on the huge billboard on New York Times Square as part of what was the series?
It's Spotify Equal. It's a
Yung-
playlist. Like it celebrates women across the world making music. So I was the Philippine representative during.
Wow.
Love. Cool.
Yes,
So-
lakas. Haba ng hair.
Actually, Reese, we've been asking this to all musicians, no? Parang, hi, kamusta, man? Like, I mean, ano?
Did you start working on Time Well Spent pre-pandemic?
Yeah, pre-pandemic. I was supposed to release it April 2020. And then it happened. I was almost done sa recordings ko dun sa album ko. And then I had one more song to redo, yung vocals, which is my first single, What Is This Feeling? And then nagka-pandemic. Actually, right before the announcement of the lockdown, I came from the studio. So I was really supposed to release it in 2020. And then I decided to postpone it a whole year because I changed some of the songs sa lineup nung album ko. And it really ended up, like, I'm really happy with what I came up with. And I'm happy with the time that I spent delaying the whole release, even though, yeah, hindi siya ideal, like walang physical gigs and everything. But still, it's a good experience. It's a different experience.
yung playing pretend, like, so that was, sadya mo talaga yun na, kasi, yun nga, si Reese released an EP.
Yeah.
After, that was during the pandemic, di ba?
Yeah,
2020.
playing pretend was not planned kasi I couldn't, because I was really supposed to release the album already in April, but then I wanted to see if the pandemic would get better. So I wanted to postpone it another year to be able to do an event because I really wanted an event. That to me is like the pinnacle of releases for me. Like I like gathering people. And so I thought that by April of next year, which is this year, it would all get better. But hindi siya nangyari. So I had to do something in the meantime. And I thought that it would be a great writing exercise for me to write something about something that's not about me. Parang something that's indirectly something that's about my experiences kind of, pero taking on the perspectives of different characters. Kasi nga walang nangyayari sa pandemic, so wala akong masulat, like wala akong personal experience, sa bahay lang ako ganun. So that whole EP was a conceptual EP. It was taking on different characters and writing as them. So it was all like spur of the moment.
Okay. Stig. So, and ako, ang question ko siguro is like, what has been, parang kumbaga, kasi we're nearing 2 years na. What has been like the closest thing to normalcy for you?
That has happened? so
Yeah,
far
like parang
sa akin.
anything. Let's say you hung out with a friend or whatever.
Mm, mm, mm. Well, I really don't get to go out a lot. Especially because strict sa household and my mom is a senior already. Parang we were trying to protect everybody. But I was able to do a couple of jobs na like I had to shoot for, and I met people, and well, syempre my face shield and my mask and social distancing and everything. But it was like as close to my old routine as I could get. I also did the Wish Awards, parang a live performance at the Wish Awards sa Araneta. So that's like something that is what that's something that's been missing since the pandemic started, yung live events and meeting friends and
Mm-hmm.
playing with friends and jamming with them. And then I also got to hang out with Kai and Arj, my friends from the music scene, just once throughout this whole pandemic. And we just ate adobo and BTS meal, and yeah, that's it. That's
Araneta?
it.
Ano na? What happened? Yung Araneta, may tao dun? In Araneta?
May yung walang audience, pero
Just
yung
crew.
tao were like the awardees or the people that were nominated. So naka place na yung tables, tapos kami lang yung nanonood sa isa't isa, tapos naka live stream yung buong event.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tapos nawala pa
Sad.
like kasi isa lang yung guitar ko noon. Tapos may in between my two songs I had to shift to open tuning. And sobrang lamig nung lugar and everything. And yung pagkatono ko sa guitar ko, hindi sumakto. Eh live yung event, 'di ba? Tapos Araneta yun. So, hindi ko mabago, hindi ko mapalitan. So
Oh
I had to play
no.
like I had to play off, like medyo off yung tune ng sixth string ko. And then, nung nagka-gap ako sa plucking ko, I, like, tinansya ko lang. Parang, tinune ko yung tuning peg. Tapos, medyo na lumapit naman siya sa ideal. Pero, grabe talaga. Like, kaya bumili na ako ng second guitar kasi ayoko na mangyari.
Whoa. Oh, damn. That's I can feel the
The
like, stage fright.
anxiety.
Yeah, may stage fright na nga ako. Tapos kung ano mangyari yun, it's like, oh my gosh.
Diba? Pero just
But
keep on playing.
speaking of anxiety, a lot of people have been going through that during the pandemic. Have you? How's your mental health? How are you?
Coping. I think I'm pretty okay. I have my family with me, so that makes me fortunate kasi meron akong makakausap, meron akong kasama, and we can bond in this way. I think I've always been a positive person. I've always tried to be. So every time I experience a curveball, I just try to see the light in it talaga. So yun nga, when nagka-pandemic, I decided to do an EP because it was parang I reframed it as a creative exercise for me and as a challenge for me. I've never recorded official recording here at home. I've never not been to the studio. I mean, I've never not gone to the studio to record vocals or instruments, but I had to step out of my comfort zone and learn how to properly set the mic gain and how to isolate my sound and how to record acoustic. Actually, yun yung pinaka-challenging, recording acoustic guitar at home because I don't have soundproofing. I don't have great mics to capture the actual the room sound of the acoustic. So yun, parang I reframed it as a learning experience for me and as a creative exercise. So I think that's what's been helping me navigate the very abnormal situation, and it looks like it's not gonna be better anytime or not gonna be the same as before
Yeah.
anytime soon. So I'm just taking it day by day. And also I've been journaling a lot.
I would love to see that journal.
I journal parang 2 pages na sobrang litis na nasulat ko. So 2 full pages every day. I try to do it every day, almost every day. If I miss maybe like a day or two in a month. So yun, I just talk to myself. It's not even beautiful prose. It's not like you can publish it in I'll be Anne Frank or something. It's just really thoughts na parang sometimes I even just narrate what happened. It's not pretty writing, but it's just
What?
talking to myself and remembering things that happened because days can look so mundane and look so ordinary. If you're living at home and you're working, and then you're subjected to the same routine. And that's something that I didn't appreciate before when I when we all had our lives. Yung parang pwede lang akong pumunta ng coffee shop, magtrabaho dun kung gusto ko, for a change of pace. Now I can't really do that, and that's something that I really miss. Yung parang liberation and the freedom of having options for where to go, what to do, who to see, what to say yes to. Yeah.
I'm still not over that journal. Sorry.
Ako
I
rin
think
eh.
we're
Ako
gonna
rin.
deep dive into this. That's the title of this episode, Journaling
The
with
journal.
Reese Lansangan. The Reese Lansangan journals.
Actually, nakakatawa.
Wait lang. May
Ini-imagine ko
question
na,
ako.
ini-imagine ko yung journal ni Reese, parang each letter iba yung kulay.
Oh, mga. Tapos
Grabe
yung
naman.
script niya talagang nakaslant.
No, hindi
With
talaga.
Anong
Magulo
anong
siya.
pen gamit mo?
I use a fountain
Anong pen?
pen. I use a fountain
See?
pen.
Of
Sabi naman
course.
hanash to eh. Okay. Pero what time of the day do you journal? Is it first thing in the morning or before you sleep?
Actually, dapat morning. Pero I've become more loose about my schedule. Sometimes before I sleep. But it helps. Pag morning, it helps because parang I get to set the intention of the day, or I get to parang say, I'll do this. These are the things that I want to prioritize. Pero pag gabi, parang evaluation na lang ng araw. So it kind of matters. The content kind of matters kapag morning siya or evening siya. But yun, I'm not as strict anymore as to when I actually write. Kung maabutan ako kailan ako maabutan. Takes me like 30 minutes to do it.
Oh. And when we were younger, I mean the template is Dear Diary.
Oh
Now
yeah.
when you journal, who do you imagine you're writing to?
Wala. I write to the future me, I guess, or the entity that is my diary. I don't address it, but I used to address it to myself before. I used to address it to myself, but I felt a bit awkward. So I just would really write, and parang because hindi naman bago sa akin yung writing. I had a blog ever since I was in like early high school, and shout out to Focus on Hocus Pocus.
Oh my gosh, shut up. We shall not talk about
Reader talaga ako. So,
No!
Pag-bisab before. Expose na natin lahat yan.
Oh my
Hanapin
God,
niyo sa
kumag yun.
archives.
Kumag yung sab na yun, huwag yung babasahin yun. Anyway.
Yan, so I've
Nag-blush
always
ako.
been drawn to parang like chronicling the things that I've had. But ang kalaban ko is habit forming. I'm not good at making habits. I'm not good at strengthening habits. So like I'm amazed at you guys who do podcasts every like Tuesday or whatever, kung kailan man kayo nagre-record. And keeping that up and having people to expect it and knowing that you can't let them down. It's really tough for me to commit to something that like heavy and long term. Pero journaling stuck with me. But before, when I was younger, I would journal. Pero I would never, yung bibili kang diary, tapos 3 pages lang yung nagawa mo. Tapos after that, naka-shelf na siya. I never really kept the habit na going until when I was older. So,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is so I have so many notebooks. Mga first
Diba?
page lang. Tapos feeling mo, yes, this is the start of my journaling
exactly.
journey.
My journey.
Yeah. Pero same as you, I made it a habit na. And I've been journaling. I see Jim and journals, and I think that sets him apart from all the men.
In touch
Grabe,
with his
find-
feelings.
Find you a guy who journals.
Marami na.
Ko, wala akong kaya
Marami
nag-journal.
na nag-journal.
Kung nag-journal man sila, ano lang yan? Ginudge sila eh, no? Ano lang yan?
Pakita
Etchos
niyo
lang
yung
yan.
journal niyo. Bakit ganon? Paano ka nag-journal? How do you format your journal? This is a
yun nga,
talk show.
Yeah.
Ako, kaya ako na-inspire dun sa sinasabi ni Reese. Kasi I haven't done that in a while eh. Parang, what I've been doing is, I just write what I'm grateful for, 3 things I'm grateful for, and then I read the Bible, and parang write scripture. Parang ganon.
Mhm.
And then, so parang it's more of like a productivity thing as opposed to spilling my guts out. Kasi there is this, I'm not sure if you read it yung The Artist's Way.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the basis of my, kaya sabi
Yung
ko, I
exercise.
usually journal in the morning. Because her rationale is to do morning pages to get everything out before you do your thing. But I'm not as faithful. Pero I used to feel guilty about it. But I thought na as long as I'm writing, then that's fine. Anyway, please continue. I interrupted you.
Pero ganun nga, parang isusuka mo lang lahat because yun nga, our minds go at. So medyo naging ganun and ako ngayon, siguro na-inspire ako bigla na kasi siguro I feel like kasi every day right now I've been writing songs eh. So parang that in a way is pero iba pa rin yung yung unfiltered thoughts.
Yeah.
And yung ang ganda ng sinabi mo, I really appreciate that. Yung parang if kasi kuwari like if you my journal right now, kung tingnan mo siya, puro lang grateful that Vito likes Death Cab for Cutie. Ganon. So parang but and like siguro we've become so dependent on the phone cams and
to capture
Instagram.
these memories.
Yeah, na iba pa rin to write like what were you feeling when this moment and it's tama, ang ganda talaga ng point na it is so mundane and it would be nice to treat these mundane things kasi if you write it, 'di ba? And you say it out loud technically parang then you realize wow, this was actually a very special day. 'Di ba? Parang
makes you appreciate and be grateful for these small moments.
Yeah.
Ako naman, ang problem ko dyan is because my brain is so dami nangyayari, diba? So, what ends up happening is my hand cramps up and sobrang intense ko pa magsulat tas grabe yung grip ko and so like, grabe like, napapagod ka agad yung hand ko.
Okay.
So, it's like, pero I do, and also, siguro, nakakatawa pa naging therapy session.
No, go. This is your podcast.
Yeah. But I don't know, I mean, I just want to hear then like, how you have, because nga, well, we were both bloggers for a long time, right? So, parang, because I'm so, and then we're podcasters, and parang I'm just like, shut up, Saab. Like, I don't want to hear about yourself again, even on your diary, parang when I'm supposed to be doing self-reflection. Pero tama, I think it's a nice way to keep your memories. Do you have like collages and stuff, or like washi tape stuff, ganon?
Yeah, I do. I have a separate journal for yung parang artsy, yung mga may pictures and may mga washi tape, mga stickers. Because I hoard a lot of stationery. So I have a separate journal for that where it's more artistic nga and expressive of like may mga drawings and stuff. But the journal, yung everyday journal is really just writing, as in straight up writing. And it's harder for me to keep up the artistic thing kasi you're more judgmental when it comes to that because you have aesthetics, you have, even if nobody sees it, you just judge yourself all the time. Parang bayahan na pangit yung pagkadikit ko ng stickers, di ko na matanggal. Yung like simple things like that nag at me. So it annoys me. Sometimes I paperclip pages that I'm not happy with para di ko siya makita. Like ganun siya. So medyo din siya, para siyang punishment ng onte kapag pangit yung ginawa ko. So I need to reframe my thoughts pa in terms of that kind of journaling. But do you guys ever, talagang batuhan to ng parang, do you guys ever feel like somebody will read your journal? Do you fear that? Do you have that fear? So you're not as transparent on paper because you feel like, oh my gosh, somebody's gonna read this someday and they're gonna see that I felt this way. I feel embarrassed. Yeah.
That's what stops me from being very open.
Ako well kasi nakakatawa. The reason I started journaling was because my intention was like parang pamana ko sa boys.
Oh my gosh.
So like actually the top 2 shelves of that drawer there are just journals. So parang I think it'll be total of 3 years na, and I label it like Jan to March 2020.
Wait, so what notebook do you use? Are you particular with a brand? Do you keep it consistent?
Wala akong pake. As in sobrang baboy.
Whatever paper lang.
Yes, whatever nandyan. Like ako sabi, may notebook
mga PR kit.
Mga PR kit.
Kasi
Tapos,
paper matters eh. Parang to me, I really do not
Ako
enjoy
rin.
writing on
Ako
paper
rin.
that's too thin or that's like
Ako
has
rin.
lines. Oh, di ba? Parang
Ako
it's
rin.
annoying.
Ayoko ng may lines. Mine has to be
Mm-mm.
dotted or grid.
Or grade,
ako nga
yeah.
yung ballpen ko parang family reunion ballpen na.
No, it's ano, it's BPI.
BPI love letters.
Ay, hindi
It's not.
pala.
Okay.
It's BPR nga.
Sorry. Yung ano rin, ako dun sa to your question, no, parang I do think about that parang because again, I just want like the boys to know me parang it's a great I love this conversation because it's a great reminder nga na parang can't really get to know who they won't really get to know me if I don't
Open up.
and if to ano yung kay siguro yung kinakatakutan ko is si Sab.
Why?
Hindi, I mean like let's say there's something that we haven't
Are you telling them stuff about me?
that we haven't really talked about.
Okay.
Like parang na syempre if you see it like that
I would
then
never. I
and-
don't. I really don't. Even if your journal is like always open there, I don't read it at all. As in, I can't. Parang there's something in my, parang may morality clause ako with myself. I can't. Whatever is written there. Because same ako as you, Reese. You mentioned it sa Makinig Ka Muna episode natin na ikaw rin parang you can't because you also don't want it done to you, which is I guess the law of the land, right?
Yes.
Do unto others.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
ako, for me, if I'm kumari typing and then Jim just passes by sa likod ko, he's not even looking, I get so stressed.
Yep, I feel
It's like-
that way. Parang, tapos may konti pang silip. Parang, bakit gusto mo silip?
I can't.
Get.
Yeah.
Ako Reese, I wanna ask you kasi you know, we always talk about like parang wang galing talaga nito ni Reese. Like parang ang dami talaga niyang
Grabe
hanash. Like
naman.
she's such a go-getter.
Yeah.
So parang what do you think parang especially you know with these weird times like what has kept you centered and what has kept you like okay go attack like do the best possible whatever thing create release go
Honestly, well, thank you for expressing that because I really, this is gonna sound so sad, but I find it difficult for me to look at myself that way because I'm very self-critical. Parang the thing that annoys me about myself is something great happens to me and I celebrate it, but I can't dwell on it. Parang my mind automatically like skips. Kunwari, like the Times Square thing, I'm really, really happy and like super thankful for that. But then after 3 days, parang, oh, okay. Parang, you know what I mean? Hindi ako ungrateful, pero ibig sabihin ko lang parang siyang imposter syndrome in a way. Like, pinili, like anyone can do that. Pinili lang naman ako eh. Parang it's not to be credited to me in a way. Yung ganun yung naisip ko and I find it hard to celebrate my victories because parang I find it hard to credit myself too much when I experience good things or when I achieve things. And parang when I look at my days, feeling ko, shucks, ano ba nagawa ko today? Wala mo nagawa today. And I feel so bad when my definition of productivity is not being met. But I know it's so unhealthy. And so I've been wrestling with that. But like those emotions and those doubts sa journal ko, like ang daming pages na ganon. Lagi akong, parang medyo may variation of the self for feeling that way and also for achieving things na parang feeling ko di ka naman masyadong magaling, swerte ka lang, parang ganon, like sobra siyang very contrasting voices, and that's what parang yun yung running thread, but I've always been, I guess it's one of my values, like achievement maybe is a value that I've never been like a valedictorian. Hindi ako star student by any means, but never ako bumagsak. So, I guess, in a way, achievement is a way for me to mark my life, my career, and it sounds very it can sound very sad in a framed in a different context, but I like having I like looking back and seeing the mountains that I guess I've built in a way. But I'm very self aware to the point that I know that achievement can be very hollow if you don't have the right people around you and if you let it get to your head. So I'm always looking forward. I'm always trying to challenge myself. Um, what can make me parang what can bring out my skills, or how can I be of help here in this avenue, or what can I do that I haven't done before. I've always listened to my internal voice. I guess that's why I've always stayed independent as a musician, because um, I feel like my guiding compass is trustworthy as long as I back herself. I back myself. I back her. Um, and I feel like I'm being constricted if I need to answer to somebody higher than me in a way. So independence and freedom has always been valuable. And what if tomorrow sabihin ko sa sarili ko, ayoko na maging musician, I wanna quit. I need to be able to claim that decision for myself and not feel like I'm indebted to anyone, or not feel like, oh shucks, I have a contract to fulfill. So yun, there's downsides to it as well, because you have to be disciplined, you have to set what you're gonna do for the day, and you have to really make goals. Otherwise, nobody's gonna make it for you. My manager is not making goals for me. My manager is not saying, gumawa ka ng album, gumawa ka ng EP. Like, lahat, paka na ako lang. So, it's exhausting, it's liberating, it's pressure filled. It's a lot of things. It's a mix of good and bad, but mostly good.
But I'm sure it's fulfilling.
Yeah, it's fulfilling. And I really try to catch myself whenever I go off the rails, or whenever I feel like, yun nga, whenever I get imposter syndrome, I tend to listen to other people more than myself, because they would be able to bring me back up. So when I hear you appreciate or see the work that I do, I really get uplifted, because that's something that's hard for me to say to myself. Na parang, oh, I did a good job. I have no measures of success except numbers, and numbers are very hard to look at. Numbers can be very stressful to look at, and I hate numbers. So it's hard to not have a measure of success, and just parang everything's open, and like, what's next? What is next? It's an eternal question.
I super understand you about the numbers. Jim knows that. I'm like, don't tell me anything. Don't tell me like what these numbers. I don't want to hear anything, because
Yep.
just for me
It
it's the
affects.
ano eh. Yeah, and tama ka. I like it when real people come up to me and tell me, how I've helped, diba? How we've helped, and
Yeah.
it's really it's a nice motivation to keep going.
Mm.
And you're very lucky that you have your family around you and you're surrounded by,
And your
loving
fans.
people.
Your
And
fans are the best.
Yeah.
Thank you. You
Yeah.
guys, yung fans nyo din, sobrang nakarelate ako
Best
sa
yung-
community nyo, sa podcast.
Best yung cross section ng pod kids and
Oh,
Reese
yeah,
kids.
that's
Yeah.
The Venn diagram. They're very, like, I noticed they're very productive, and they're very, yung parang may alpha state din sila. Parang ganun yung mga, yung intersection eh. So,
Love it.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I just want to encourage you guys also, because like my sister loves your podcast. As in, she
Aw.
loves you guys. And sobra siyang, like, pag nakikinig lang siya sa earphones niya, nagtatrabaho siya, tapos tumatawa siya. Alam ko na yung pinapakinggan. Tawa lang siya, tawa mag-isa. Like, wala. Di ako nakaka-relate kasi naka-earphone siya. So, wala lang. I just want to encourage you guys. Matagal na siyang listener ninyo. And, naka-relate siya kay Candy ng sorry. Oh my God, sobrang dami kong topics na in-open. I'm sorry.
No,
Kasi
go!
yung episode niya with Candy about Rurouni Kenshin, kasi sobrang big fan ni Denise sa Rurouni Kenshin. As in, sabi niya, pakinggan mo to. Oh my God, sobrang, she's me. Gano'n. Kasi sabi niya, pag nagka-condo ako, yun din una kong gagawin. Magpapaprint ako malaki Rurouni Kenshin poster. We even ordered parang merch ng Rurouni Kenshin. Kasi nag-25th anniversary sila last year. So we ordered from Japan. Nagpasabay kami ng may bulk orders ng mga merch ng 25th anniv nila. Kasi walang merch yung Rurouni Kenshin talaga. So wala lang, Candy, shout out to you.
Oh,
You're amazing.
That's so cute. Oh, they should meet.
I
Kala ko na she also broke up
suddenly
with
single.
someone suddenly.
No, it's the Rurouni Kenshin aspect that she was able to relate to. Nakakatawa. Kaya I'm happy for Candy. She was able to put up that poster on her
Yeah. So shameless plug. Listen to that episode. Suddenly
yeah.
single in a pandemic with Candy Gamos.
Yes.
Reese, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us, and it's always an incredible episode when you're here with us. And to our listeners, Reese will be back, but in another podcast. It's
Yeah.
Makinig Ka Muna.
Makinig ka muna.
But there will be other episodes. Pero actually, Reese, yung next natin dapat hindi na podcast. Like, chikahan tayo kasi
Yes.
gusto ko ng update.
meron akong
update.
meron akong
ng
meron
ano.
after. Meron akong irereto.
Oh my God.